Hey y'all, good evening. Welcome to the Afrocentric Woman. I am all right, great. Just needed to pull up my other device, get that situated. Got my water. I'm all situated. I do need a pillow though. Hold on, let me go grab a pillow. Because I want to be comfortable. Hey girl, hey. Thank you for coming through, girl. We got some things to talk about today. Okay, so the premise of me making this video to talk about this is that I am seeing a lot of misunderstanding of what is hypergamy, and also conflating and mixing up hypergamy with level up, and using the terms interchangeably, and just outright redefining hypergamy altogether. So, if you will, when I first started this channel, I avoided using the word hypergamy as much as possible. I also avoided hashtagging hypergamy just because I wanted to attract people for the right reasons. I didn't want to try to be like too trendy, like, oh, I'm just going to use this term because everybody's talking about it. So I talked about like dating up and getting the most money that you possibly could get. I mean, which is another way for saying hypergamy, but it doesn't have to be hypergamy per se. But now I don't mind using the term if it's going to, number one, define exactly what the objective is, and then number two, attract people who are looking for that specific content on hypergamy and how to achieve a hypergamous relationship. Now, let's start with defining what is level up and what is a level up movement, because it is very broad. Level up is very broad. Level up in its basic sense means improving your life. It means striving to improve your life in a variety of different areas. So you can level up your health and wellness, you can level up your finances, you can level up your education, you can level up your living environment, you can level up your transportation, you can level up your personal knowledge, you can level up your language skills, you can level up your wardrobe, you can level up your physical appearance, you can level up your relationships in general, you can level up your mindset, you can level up your mental health. Level up is very broad. It is extremely broad, and you can literally level up in every important aspect of your life. And that means that you're striving to improve it, that you're striving to get better in those areas, and that you're putting energy in it. And obviously, it's really hard to do everything at one time. So usually people pick the area that maybe either is going to have the most impact, or they choose the area that is needing the most attention. So someone who is, let's say they have like really bad acne, and that's something that is holding them back, or they don't feel as confident about it, they might level up their skincare by going to a dermatologist, getting a skincare routine, whatever, because that is the area that is the most impactful. But that doesn't mean that their finances are perfect, or their this is that, or that, or that, or that is perfect. It's just choosing an area to level up in, or choosing a few areas, because it's really hard. You can kind of do a little bit everywhere, but you won't make major strides if you try to level up everything at the same time equally. So that means you're going to be doing a little bit of fitness, a little bit of skin, a little bit of hair, a little bit of finance, a little bit of education, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. That can be a strategy that can work, depending on just how you work. Some people choose one thing or several things to work on, like I just mentioned. Whether you're going to get the biggest bang for your buck, or you're going to have the biggest impact, or just something that bothers you. Something that you feel that is holding you back and you want to try to level up. Now, when we talk about leveling up in relationships, when we talk about leveling up in romantic relationships, that means choosing better partners. But that doesn't necessarily mean hypergamy. Based off of where you're coming from. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes people will even say leveling up from a relationship is just getting over a toxic or a bad relationship. So getting a relationship that's not toxic, it's not bad, it's a good one, they will say, okay, that is a level up. That's a level up from where you were, because you were in dysfunction and now you are either by yourself, vibing with yourself, dating yourself, getting to know yourself, or you're engaging in better relationships. That doesn't necessarily mean that that's hypergamy. That just means you leveled up out of dysfunction. You see what I mean? All right, so that's level up. Now, when we talk about the level up movement, there's other facets within that. There's a lot of femininity content in there because people feel that you can level up through femininity. But femininity is not the only Femininity is not the only way to level up. There are masculine women who level up. Masculine women are not inherently bad or masculinas. Not everyone's going to be a feminine woman, and not everyone feels comfortable with that role in relating. I think that's another thing that we have to come to grips with too, that every woman is not going to be feminine. Every woman does not have the desire or the aspiration to be feminine. You can be a masculina and level up your life. You can level up your appearance. You can level up your place of business. You can level up your house. You can level up your car. You can level up your portfolio. You can level up your education. You can level up your networking skills. And you can do all of that, meanwhile being a whole masculina. But women who prefer a feminine lifestyle and actually want to cultivate that kind of mesh femininity into level up when they're really not necessarily the same thing. Within femininity, there are some women who believe that the woman is the prize and they don't chase men and they have a feminine approach to a lot of things. There are also women who say they're feminine, but they really don't understand, and they're actually masculinas. But they desire a relationship with a male, and so they kind of house everything into femininity, even though what they're doing, their actions, is very masculine, or it's very mammy-ish, it's very motherly. And when you're actually feminine, a feminine woman does not relate to a man as a mother to a child. If a woman relates to a man as though she's his mother, she steps out of her femininity and into something else. Especially when she's protecting him. She's stepping out of her femininity, she's stepping into something else. But because these women, the ones who say they're feminine, but they're doing the most to be picked by men, they just paint it in a femininity brush. And they'll even say, I'm a femininity coach, or I'm a femininity guru, or I do femininity content, even though nothing that they do is really feminine. They may talk with a soft tone, but they're speaking mammy talking points. You see what I'm saying? So there's a lot going on here. So we start with level up And then we talked about femininity, masculinas, and leveling up in different areas of your life versus leveling up from one relationship to another, or leveling up out of a relationship. Okay, so hypergamy. Hypergamy originally in its origin state means typically a woman going for a relationship that's going to be a serious commitment. It could be marriage or something like marriage, not necessarily always marriage. It could be something similar to marriage, but a serious commitment with a man, a partner that is well above your income level. Now, the caveat to that is prestige. Sometimes there may not be a big income gap, but sometimes there is a huge prestige gap or social status gap. So maybe someone who went to the best private school and then went to, an Ivy League college, and then now they're a writer or something, which maybe they're not making that much money, but they have the pedigree, right? They have the connections, they have the last name. Their parents are somebody, their grandparents are somebody, their great-grandparents are somebody. So marrying into prestige, even if that person doesn't not yet make all that much money, can sometimes be stretched to be considered hypergamy to some extent. Those are the small caveats, but in its basic form, it is pursuing and entering to a relationship with someone who makes significantly more than you. And not even just make significantly more, has significantly more assets and status. So, the more money a woman makes, the more difficult it is for her to be hypergamous. That doesn't mean she can't be, but it just becomes more difficult, and especially race loyal Black women. We have a whole list of Black women who are hypogamous. So hypogamous is entering into a serious and committed relationship with someone who makes significantly less, has significantly less assets, earning potential, and less social status. So most Black women engage in hypergamy. Yeah, sometimes assets are overlooked in favor of income. I think when it comes to hypergamy, assets mean more than income. Okay? Assets mean more than income when it comes to hypergamy. Somebody could be making $150,000 a year and have $140,000 worth of expenses. Therefore, it's not really like if a woman is making $90,000 and she has, like, let's say $35,000 worth of expenses, she's actually in the better economic situation than the potential partner. So hypergamy in its rawest forms is seeking and entering into a relationship, a committed relationship with someone with significantly more assets and social status. Now, Black women have redefined hypergamy. Now, not us over here, for the most part. Black women in spaces that I have observed online, outside of YouTube, a little bit on YouTube, but especially off, have completely redefined hypergamy. I have heard Black women say that hypergamy is dating anybody one tax bracket ahead of you. And that could not be further from the truth. And the crazy thing about this misinformation about hypergamy is that it keeps getting repeated over and over, to where when you're playing telephone and you just don't even know where the message started. That's basically what's going on with hypergamy and black women dating spaces, that are especially the ones who are interested in black men. They just keep repeating each other's misinformation. I don't know. Like, I think each year the tax brackets change, but I think one huge tax bracket is about, at least in the United States, is $75,000. That's like an income threshold. So if you're making between such and such and 75,000, and there's a guy making 80,000, he technically is in a higher tax bracket as you. Is that a hypergamous relationship? No, it is not. Why is it not? Because he doesn't have significantly more assets than you. That's why. Black women, okay, this is my theory. This is my theory about why black women are there's a lot of black women who are interested in hypergamy, and they also prefer black men or only want black men. These women are observing women who have come through Level Up entering into relationships and flexing online with different things, or they're being able to experience life. They're being able to go on trips, or show jewelry online, or just entering into relationships. And they think that hypergamy is some type of magical fairy dust or sauce, that we have cracked the code on men, and then they want to come over to learn whatever we have to offer, or to just be around and just pick up whatever tips they can, because they think that we have some type of secret magical sauce that's going to make their black man behave. And I'll tell these women, I mean, I've literally been banned out of groups. I've been kicked out of groups because I'm like, ma'am, what you're doing is you're saying hypergamy, but you're being a pick-me. You're not actually doing anything that's related to hypergamy or even Level Up. But you just over here still doing the same thing that you're doing in your regular schmegular life, and you think that there's some type of like Masonic or Eastern Star secret to life or something that like, girl, it's not that serious. There's no fairy dust over here. Really, it's not. There's nothing magical that we have that can make your black man behave. You've done all the pick me femininity courses. You've been through all these different training courses, and you haven't tried hypergamy, and you think that's the last thing. And see, that in and of itself is the misnomer. You're going to try hypergamy. It's no try, it's only do. Either you're going to do it or you're not going to do it. But that's going to mean that you're not going to be able to talk to most of the men in your vicinity. And most of y'all ain't about that life. Because any man, like for a lot of them, any man that smiles at you and opens up your door, you're ready to give him a chance. He ain't got to do nothing. So you're not wanting to be hypergamous. You want a black man, and you're desperate. These women are desperate for a black man, and they're willing to try anything, including hypergamy. Hypergamy to them is synonymous with relationship in general. Just in general. Like, if a man can pay for a date, they think that they're, quote, doing hypergamy. There was one pick-me several months ago. She had posted this picture of a celebrity. I forget the name of the celebrity. She posted a picture of the celebrity, and she was like, oh, look at this dress. Does it look hypergamous? I was like, what? How can a dress look hypergamous? Like, what the hell? What are you talking about? Um, this particular celebrity is not, is she married? I don't know if she married the bandit or if they've just been like a long-term relationship. She's in a struggle love relationship with the bandit. It's like a washed up rapper. And I was like, the dress is okay. The dress is kind of cute, but she is a Barber the Builder in a struggle love relationship with a washed up rapper. Always getting cheated on, always getting embarrassed. She's been embarrassed so many times by this struggle bandit. She's not hypergamous. If she was hypergamous, she would take her ass over to Dubai or to Sydney or to London or somewhere, and she would snag her a affluent man. But she don't want that. She could have did that 5 or 10 years ago or whatever. Hell, she might even still be able to do it today. But she don't want that. She wants a struggle bandit. And that's okay. She has the right to be with a struggle bandit. But you can't say her dress is hypergamous. See, this is the thing. That's all the confusion that's going on over there. Because they have just redefined, it's muddled. Like, I guess we're just gonna, like, Black women have literally like just ruined the term hypergamy. Like, they've just ruined it. It don't mean nothing no more over there. It don't mean nothing. This is the thing about hypergamous lifestyle, which is, this is what does not gel with most Black women. It's prioritizing resources over everything. So when you are seeking hypergamy, you prioritize resources first and foremost. Then you do all the rest of it. Then you look at character, you look at looks a little bit. Looks is last on the list when you're truly hypergamous. That's like on the very bottom of the list when you're hypergamous. Age is down at the bottom of the list. Age and looks is down at the bottom of the list. Character, you look at money first, and then once you check that box, which is the most important box, then you look at other things like character, consistency, that they love you more than you love them? Is it going to be a good situation for you? The prestige, access. You look at other things. And that's the part that Black women don't want to accept. You see all these pick-me's. They come in a group called Hypergamy for Black Women. Hypergamous Black Woman United, whatever. And they come in the group and they're like, do you guys honestly just go off of looks? Or do you guys honestly just go off of money? Because I feel, this is like every single effing pick-me. I feel that we can look at how a guy treats me, and I'm looking for more than just money. Why are you in the hypergamy group? Get out. Go away. There are like 1,000 pick-me groups. 1,000. 10,000 pick-me groups. There are Black love groups that you can join. There are all these groups that you can join, but you carry yourself over here to Hypergamous Woman United and talking about why y'all always talk about money. If you're uncomfortable with money, get out of here, because this is not for you. You are not about that life, and it's okay. It's okay. It's literally not for everyone. It's not for everyone. You might not be built for this. This might not be your thing. But see, they're over there thinking that there's some magic sauce that's going to make their Black man act right. So they're over there to try to get some tips on how to get chosen. And meanwhile, they're not willing to relinquish any of their mammying ways, any of their Barber the Builder ways, any of their pick-me ways, any of their mindset, any of the things that always it makes them end up with a struggle bandit. They're not willing to relinquish any of it. This is what I've seen over and over and over again. And this is why I don't even get involved with the Black women hypergamy groups anymore. Because they're full of pick-me's. We have our little secret groups where we kind of get together, and I can tell you they're very small. We have our little powwows and stuff like that, but they're small. They're all like less than 300 people. Because when you start to get to the thousands of Black women, it becomes a pick-me, it just becomes a pick-me ground. Like, there's no more talk of hypergamy. They're not even trying. They're not even trying. They don't even, and like I said, it's that telephone thing where one person misunderstands and the next one and the next one and the next one, to where it doesn't mean anything anymore. Just like Black men changed high value, like, it doesn't mean anything anymore to them. It doesn't mean anything. They just cosplay and make it whatever they need it to be. So it's like, I have a pulse, I'm high value. I'm an average earning Black man. I make $45,000 a year. I'm high value. I don't have any kids that I publicly claim I'm high value. It don't mean nothing no more. And the same thing, hypergamy in the majority of Black women, it don't mean nothing. Because those same women will be like, well, you can be hypergamous, and then also you don't have to worry about money because money is not that important in the relationship. Part of the reason why Black women are so confused about hypergamy is because the relationships that they have been in have been so exploitative. There are hundreds of thousands of Black women, maybe even millions, who pay the way for struggle bandits. Like, bail them out of jail, have to pay for dates, have to pay the rent, have to, give him money, have to pay his child support. Don't ever go out nowhere, ain't never been taken on no proper date, And so these women are over there too. And so they'll come over, and if a guy is willing to take them to Chili's, they're like, oh yeah, I'm living a hypergamous lifestyle. And you're like, ma'am, that's not worth bragging about, and that's not hypergamy. That's just a date, girl. You went on a date. So there's the pursuit of hypergamy, and then there's hypergamy itself. So you can have an intention of entering into a hypergamous relationship. Not everybody who wants it is going to get it. And that's okay too. For those who are seeking hypergamy, those are the women who put themselves in position to achieve it. So those are the women who are going to the yacht shows and going to polo matches and going to, 5-star events and whatnot, and the opera and the fine arts. They're putting themselves in proximity to be able to achieve what they want. They have certain categories. They won't even date men who don't make a certain amount, who don't have a certain level of resources, because they are only interested in entering into hypergamous relationship. So they have no interest in dealing with anybody that's going to offer a different type of relationship dynamic. Pursuing hypergamy and level up are not the same thing, although they do overlap. In other words, what I'm saying is, every woman who's leveling up, for example, some women are going to the yacht show not necessarily to find a mate. They just might be interested in boats. Or they're going to the symphony because they literally just want to go to the symphony, but they don't have any criteria or desire to meet a mate. Let's say that they're going to the symphony, but they only want to date a man their own age who's really attractive. So they will be willing to date someone who makes their same amount of money because they're not hypergamous. They don't have a hypergamous aim in mind. But the woman who's leveling up, who's dating at her level, and the woman who is leveling up, who wants hypergamy, they find themselves sometimes in the same arenas, in the same environments. They just don't have the same objective. That's why there's like this overlap of level up and hypergamy. They are not the same thing, and they really can't be used interchangeably. 50-50 relationships are okay if that's what somebody wants. Okay, it doesn't mean that they're a demon or they're bad, or that you can't live an okay life going 50-50 with a guy. Now, we have a philosophy that over here, we have a philosophy that it will deplete a woman to where she will not have a good quality of life. That's our philosophy, and that's what we feel over here. But for an individual woman, if she doesn't feel like she's being depleted, going 50-50 with the guy, she doesn't mind paying half the bills, that's her God-given right to be able to do that. I think where we really get to the point of disagreement or frustration is where the 50-50 woman is complaining about how hard her life is, not understanding that that is the life that she chose. So you kind of have to pick a lane, sis. You got to pick a lane, what you want to do. In a lot of those hypergamy groups, you see women pursuing men, praising them. They have absolutely like no idea how to vet a man. And also, they feel like if a guy has a quote unquote good job, that would be hypergamy for her. When, if you refer back to when we're talking about assets, you would have absolutely no idea to know if that is actually going to be hypergamous. There's a thing called like a lateral relationship. So it's a lateral move. So when you move from, like, if you move from one side, like you'll say you're by yourself and you have your little life and you have like the neighborhood that you're able to afford for yourself, you have the vehicle that you're able to afford for yourself, and yada yada yada, and then you get with a guy that's going to offer the same thing. That's a lateral move. That's not a leap and bound up. You see, that's not like, oh, I'm going to a way better neighborhood than what I had before. I'm getting a way better car than what I had before. Like, I would have never been able to afford private school without this man. Now I can afford private school for my kids. Now I can do this. Now I can, easily travel or fly first class or whatever. Easily. Like, hypergamy is a big leap past what you have. Another underlying belief that a lot of Black women have is that they have to have a lot in order to get, a man with a lot of money, when it doesn't work like that. And the reason why it's hard for Black women to conceptualize that is because they're so male identified. Like, the males have been beating you down, asking you constantly what you bring to the table, always expecting provisions from you as a woman, wanting to be taken care of like you're their mom and they're the child. It's hard for you to understand that there's men from other communities that don't expect that. Experience in life makes you a more interesting person, which is more alluring and attractive. So yes, if you've traveled, if you went through university, you have these nice hobbies, you've seen a lot, you've done a lot, you're more attractive. But it's not like guys are like, oh, I won't be with you if you don't have a master's degree or whatever, or if you don't have the same amount of money. The only men that say stuff like that are typically black males. And at the end, after they've ran through black women after black woman after black woman, they're not going to marry any of them anyway. That's the funny joke. That's the con. So like, they'll tell you need all these things, and they'll put a ring on it or whatever, string you along, and they'll be like dating however many women they can date at the same time and rotating them in, rotating them out, and ultimately not marry any of them. Create a couple single moms here and there, and ultimately not marry any of them. By the time he's like 50, he'll be like, oh, maybe I should settle down. Or not. No, there's a lot of 50 and 60 and 70-year-olds that ain't never been married. So they don't, so black women are kind of chasing their tails when it comes to stuff like that, because the so-called high value black man is not actually high value compared to other male groups. It's not even worth it. Like, you can't really achieve, if you want a lateral move, then okay, it might make sense. But as far as hypergamy, the ones of those who can actually offer hypergamy are oftentimes not interested in phenotypically African looking women with like full features and kinky hair. They're not interested. They want something closer to white or white. And that's another thing that women don't want to come to grips with. Like, if you don't want to expand your options, then you cannot commit yourself to hypergamy. It just doesn't work. You cannot limit yourself to the most economically disenfranchised male group on the planet Earth and say, I want to be hypergamous. They cancel each other out. So if you truly have a hypergamous intention, you have to go after male groups who have the most resources, if that's what you want. Gosh, I was about to say something, but I lost my train of thought. The married women. There are married women inside the hypergamous group who are married to black men who are in 50-50 relationships and who are not married hypergamously. They come into the group to diversity shame, to shame women who date out. They will literally start threads just to argue about black love. They will intentionally come into the group and start threads to stir the pot about black love. Now, if they're so happily married to their king and they're living their best life, why are you in a hypergamy group, which is like mainly women who are dating? Why are you over here? And if you're in a 50-50 relationship, why are you in the hypergamy group? This is the thing about these women. Black women do not care about your struggle marriage. These women are used to using their marriage as a flex. They were used to having women honor them and acknowledge them as special because they were wives. And there is a whole slew, a growing group of black women who do not care about your marriage. It's just like, I ate soup yesterday. Okay, it rained on Tuesday. All right, I got married last week. Okay, congratulations. We don't care. And I think that that bothers them. It bothers them that we don't care. When you're like, well, if you were married, we were like, girl, I am glad I'm not married to your struggle king. Can you come over here and get some mokangs off the street? We don't care. So they come to the group to antagonize women and to try to regain some type of envy or like, you know, favoritism regarding their marriage when we don't care. If you think about it, like, who else would? You want the, like, the leveled up black women. You want the most educated and the most prestigious black women to care about your marriage, and we don't care. We literally don't care. And you know that they want they want our validation more than anybody else's, because they will sit up there and pick fights. Sometimes you'll just be minding your business, talking to other women who date out and who have similar mindset, and they'll just interject themselves into the conversation unprovoked. They'll just insert themselves and start talking about kangs and black love, and they love their man. Why are you telling me you love it? I don't care. I do not care that you love your man. Girl, go on somewhere. If you want to find somebody to care, there are black love groups. How many of them are? There are thousands of them. And they have black love Instagram pages. You can go post you and your king over there on the Instagram black love page. You can submit your pictures. There's a time and a space for that. But you cannot try to make women care who literally don't care. They don't have anything luxurious to post, and I think that bothers them too. So they'll be like, "Oh, I'm getting ready to go on a date night with my hubby." It's like, girl, what in the struggle date is going on over here? Like, girl, there's girls who are not married getting flued out, doing all kinds of stuff, and they not even married. And you posting some basic, y'all going out to eat. Like, girl, this is not who, child. Child, we do not care. One of the subscribers says, I'm in a 50-50 relationship. I got scammed by my partner knowing how much I do in the relationship. It's kind of a shame that I say I'm married. Those women are looking for approval the wrong way. Wow. Struggle wise. Coco's a mess. Oh, yeah, exactly. Call me Coco. They're trying to claw their way back to the hierarchy because black male worship, it doesn't it doesn't validate you until a black man chooses you, and you're only important based off of that or your relation to a male. And I was thinking about this the other day when, like, I was going to do something this weekend and I'm not going to do it now. And it was tied up with someone who I'm not really talking to right now. And I just feel like I really don't have any qualms talking to my family about who I date. And I wish it were not such a big deal. I wish it could just be matter of fact, because it's like, unless I'm talking about proposal, I don't want y'all getting so riled up and so like, ooh, you're dating someone. Where y'all going? What y'all doing? Ooh, like, oh wow, somebody's about to choose you. Like, y'all stop. Can y'all stop that? It's really not. It's really just a matter of safety. Like, hey, I'm seeing this person. I'm going to be going out on this place. It's just to let you know my movements. But it's not like, oh, this is the one. And that because of black male worship, that's how the hierarchy is set up. Like, you strive and you strive and you strive to get picked. Another thing I'm seeing, which isn't necessarily hypergamy related, but I'm in these like black love dating groups because I find them very fascinating. I think it's excellent research. And it's just so interesting how these struggle bandits are continuing to get praised and worshiped and ego stroked and man stroked for having done nothing. They'll be like, hey, my name is Bob. I'm a trucker. I live in Tennessee. How y'all doing? And there will be, oh my God, Bob, you're so attractive. You're not going to be single for long. Oh my gosh, Bob, welcome to the group. And just like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of responses and likes compared to when women post barely anything. And if you look at the people that's clicking on them, some of them like are struggle bandits. Well, no, they all kind of are straight up struggle bandits, but like they just all look like they could be called Bubba or something like that. Just like, girl, no. And one thing I don't like black women talking about their children. Like, I have 3 daughters. And I'm just like, why are you saying that? I have 3 daughters. I'm retired military. Now I work in healthcare. I have 2 cars and a house. You see the masculina? Like, you're talking about your assets when the man needs to be talking about his assets. You need to be evaluating his assets, not showcasing yours. And I hate how they always talk about their kids. I'm like, you don't understand the deviancy of these guys. And you're telling these guys right off the bat, your kid's age and name, or not necessarily name, but their age and how many you have. It's just like, hi, please, pedophile, pick me, please, pick me, please. It's nobody's business if you have kids, especially your girls. Hide your kids, hide your girls. You need to vet him initially before you disclose that you have children. Yeah, but the masculinas, they receive, or pardon me, they pursue, they profess their love, they act like pick-me's, and they praise. They praise without warrant. Without the guy having done anything to achieve it. To earn it, rather. Ew, that's gross. Yeah, you definitely should not tell a guy that you have kids. These so-called dating coaches, y'all, I just don't even know. Like, I tell y'all, I share my personal experience and I share my observations. But the femininity coach stuff is so lame. This is the thing about let's back it up, back to the level up, and let's back up to the whole femininity content situation. There were certain content creators who would say, oh, I really don't like the femininity content creators because y'all think that y'all are going to make black men act right with your femininity content and you're wasting your time. And I used to get irritated because I was putting out femininity content, but I never encouraged my subscribers to use it for black men. I'd never done that. And a lot of the women that I had followed had not explicitly said, hey, use this femininity content to get a black man. But once I something in my algorithm changed, and I ended up getting all these pick me channels suggested to me, and I was like, okay, that's what y'all were talking about. That's what was pissing y'all off. There are black women who are not feminine at all. I'm not saying that they're unkempt. They are okay looking. Some of them, they're not the most glamorous, but they're okay looking. Many of them are okay looking, but the way they act is very what I would call masculina. Like they are on the front line to defend Black men. And they'll say that it's about Black community, but it's not. So they'll go in on divestors, they'll go in on Black women who date out. They'll make like 20 videos on that, and then they'll have like one video on SYBM. They'll have like one video on the manosphere, and then they'll have 20 videos attacking Black women who date out. And then they'll have like maybe a half-ass video critiquing the manosphere. So it's very clear that you're here to crusade for Black men, but you just won't explicitly say that. You say you're a femininity coach, but like what part of femininity is get on the front lines and defend men? Wouldn't you allow them to defend themselves if you are truly feminine? Why don't you get out of the way and allow them to defend themselves or to be accountable for what they do? Why are you removing accountability from a man if you're so feminine? Like, I don't get it. And then you have a race to the bottom mentality. You want to negotiate all the way down to nothingness because all you need is a penis and a pulse. We can be together. It can be in a shack. It can be in a cardboard box. As long as we're together, everything is going to be okay. And you think that convincing Black women that nobody wants us, and this is the women doing their job for them. Nobody wants you. You expect too much. You need to expect less. You need to work on yourself. You hate yourself because you date out. It's anti-Black to call out Black men on the shit that they do. And I'm a femininity coach. It's like, girl, this is not feminine. This is just you doing you, or I would call it being a mammy and a pick-me. You can kind of like alternate in between different things. And another thing about the pick-me thing is it seems like pick-me just means like I don't like you. Because I've heard people say people are pick-me's, and that's like, how are you saying that that person is a pick-me when they don't even pursue men? You gotta pursue men to be a pick-me. You have to be the driver in this. You have to put forth effort to pursue a man to be a pick-me. You have to do things to want to be picked, like trying to impress him, making it very convenient for him to be with you, lowering your standards, requiring way less, or paying for him, giving him, that's pick-me behavior. But sometimes pick-me just means I don't like you. Sometimes it just means I don't like you. I recall in 2020 when the pandemic started, seeing so many Black men recall stories of women putting their standards out there early on. All I could think was, it's because was trying hypergamy on a dusty. Yeah. So I guess that's another caveat within the I'm not really committed to hypergamy, but I'm in the group anyway. And I have made disclaimers all through and through, especially in the beginning of when I started at the beginning. I always made this disclaimer: nothing that I'm telling you is going to work on a dusty. Like all the tips and the, things I'm telling you, it's not going to work on a dusty. But there are women in the groups who try to implement some of the tips or they see other women, going on these nice dates or getting things paid for and stuff like that. And they'll try to do it on a dusty, and then they're like, well, why am I not getting the results you're getting? Why do I keep, ending up short? Why did he cuss me out? Why did he call me a gold digger? And then they feel bad about it. Like, if you feel bad about being called a gold digger, you're not built to be hypergamous. If you're really committed to hypergamy, you will not care if anybody calls you a gold digger. You'll be like, and where's the insult? Where's the lie? Now, obviously, it's crass to be like, I'm a gold digger. Obviously, that's a bit crass. And yeah, you're going to play the little coy game like there's more than what it is, but it is what it is. Like, if you can get it, if you can enter into a dating situation where it can lead to a hypergamous commitment, then you should do it. Obviously, you're not going to make an announcement to your potential that you're a gold digger, but just in private and girl talk and chit chat and things like that, if someone refers to you as a gold digger, you're not going to be offended by that. You're like, okay, what's wrong with digging for gold? What are you digging for? What you digging for? And what if I don't have to be a gold digger? What if they just give me the gold easily? I don't even have to break my nails digging for it. That's even better. I'm a gold receiver. Well, you ask a great question on Selfish Love about why do the pick-me's try to get hypergamous women back in line? I believe that they have a desire to please Black men. Like, they would be willing to hurt you in order to please Black men. Like, they would be willing to do that. And also, they're not thinking about themselves. Because if you really want all the kings, it would be better if we weren't interested in them, so that there'll be more kings for you. But they don't think like that. They need for the most desirable Black women to desire what they want, to raise the value of what they have. You see what I'm saying? It's not the lower rung, unkempt pick-me's who are swooning over Tyrone that doesn't add to Tyrone's value. It's the educated, prestigious Black women. It's the Black women who can date whoever because we're universally attractive. It's us who add the value to them. So they need for us to get back in line and vie for what it is that they have or what they want or whether they're going to get picked to increase the stock and the value. So the more we say, I just don't care, I don't care, it lowers their value because they're only the most desirable among Black women. But some of the most beautiful and attractive and educated and well-traveled, cultured Black women are the ones who are most in droves saying, I just don't care what y'all do over, I don't care. So now it's almost like the stock that they invested in is going down. Because you have investors pulling out. So the stock is going down. So they're trying to get you back over there to bring the stock back up. But we don't care. That's the thing. We just don't care. And the interesting thing, like just a side note. For me, it's always very fascinating how bandits, like, they'll just like say something, either in a comment section, or I've even had one that I had to dismiss from my business the other day. Just say stuff and They just think that you're just supposed to care. Like, I'm like, I do not care. You did not say anything groundbreaking. Like, I don't care. But for them it's jarring because like they'll go to a lot of different spaces and people hang on their every word, or when they come in they're like, well, let me give you a man's perspective on what you're doing, see what you need to do. And you're like, I didn't even ask you, Tyrone. And second of all, you said man perspective, and you're not even a man. So even if I wanted a man's perspective, I would not ask you. I would go ask a real man, not you. Now, in some places, like maybe you go to the church and people might gather around. Oh, let's gather around and see what he has to say. But over here, we don't care. Like, you're not going to come onto the thread and think that I don't value your opinion. What you have to say doesn't matter. Nobody really in the world outside of this little community, nobody cares what you have to say. Nobody's consulting with you about anything. Now, Black women, yeah, people care, people do consult, people do want to know, because we move the culture. We move the culture. What we pay attention to matter. Like what we give our attention to matters. Our rage is monetized. They monetize our rage. They monetize what we're into. Everything. Like, yeah, people listen to us, but like, who cares what you have to say? Nobody even asked you anything. They just come in like with their chest puffed out. Like, boy, can you get to the back of the wall? Excuse me? Can you step out of the way so these men can come through? Step to the side, please. Go to the kids' table. No, seriously, on a global scale, they are literally at the kids' table. Let me scroll back up to the top of the... I missed so many comments. Wow, I've just been talking and I had not seen any of these comments. Child. Okay, yeah, Just Me says that there's a huge difference between level up and hypergamy. Level up is improving yourself. Hypergamy is dating up. Those are two separate things. Yes, femininity is mental and physical level up. Selfish Love says assets definitely mean more. I have a client who W2 says 90K, but his assets that produce 1 million. Wow. Oh. Selfish Love, you might have to do is he married? No, just kidding. Kind of not though. Especially if there are inheritance concern. Some people legitimately inherit businesses, homes, land, and heirlooms. Yes. And while I'm at it, let me just say this about inheritances and about delayed asset allocation and stuff like that. Now, my general advice, and from my perspective, is I encourage Black women to only date men who are already established. And the reason why I say that is because sometimes there's less of a tie, like there's not like a cultural tie or a familiar tie that we have when we engage with other communities, like when we're dating out legitimately. So there's less of an incentive for a man to build himself up with us. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, we went to school together and then we got married and then like he started out earning me. That happens sometimes, but I feel like there's usually more of a familiar tie or like from the same community, people to do that. There's less times where you are dating out and that happens. And so you don't you want to kind of just put your odds in the best favor to not be left. You don't want to give up a bunch of years and then end up empty-handed, or give up your youth for someone who either isn't committing to you, or you went into the situation so 50-50, you've given them your youth, but then you leave the marriage with what you came with. And so then now you're in your 40s or 50s out there dating, and they're out there with their 40s and their 50s, and they're dating 20 and 30-year-olds who's spending the money that you helped him get. So that's why I say get someone who's pretty much already established, because it decreases the odds of that happening. And I think that's very important. And it becomes exponentially more important for women in their 30s and their 40s and onwards. It makes it exponentially more important because we don't have that much time. Like, we still look good in our 30s. We look good in our 40s too. Hell, we can push it. We can push that thing close to 60, okay? When you're a Black woman, you drink your water, you take care of yourself. In fact, let me get some water now. We can push it. We can push it as close, as long as we can. But imagine if you're out there in your 30s or your 40s, you want to go ahead and just get with someone who's already established. First of all, if you're dating someone older, if he ain't established by like 50, he ain't gonna be. You know what I'm saying? Like, by 50, by their early to mid 50s, they should be like an executive level by then. If they're still management, supervisor, or senior member, like, girl, I don't, that ain't really hypergamy. They should be in a C-suite by then. They should be managing big teams, having a company, by that time. If you're in your 30s and 40s, then that's what you're kind of looking for. So you don't want to get with someone, let's say, for example, you get with someone your same age, and then they're trying to build themselves up. That's a gamble of your time. So what, you're going to give them 2 years? And then what? What if he's like, oh, never mind, psych. Psych, yeah, no, actually, I'm good. I was nice building with you. And then he gets, a 28-year-old. So the thing about your time is that nobody can waste your time. You give your time where you choose to give your time. So your time is yours, and you spend it where it makes most sense. And you stop spending it as soon as it doesn't make sense. And I think that, like, when we're talking about gambling, because love and relationships is a bit of a gamble. You can do everything right. You can do everything perfect by the book, and it still not work out. Because, there's just the element of not knowing. There's an element of free will of the other person, and there's just all these different elements that you can't guarantee anything. But when you get with someone who's established, you're stacking the odds in your favor. Because when you're established and you feel like established, like, ooh, I have a lot of, I got my resources, I got my boat, I got my beach house, I got my this, I got my that. Now I want to get a woman. An established man is more likely to go get the woman that he truly desires, because he has the resources to get the woman that he truly desires. It is the man who's on the come up who feels like, one day I will get the woman I desire. One day I will be able to attract her. So in the meantime, I'm going to date these cute pick-me, or I'm going to date these cute girls over here. She ain't really what I want, but she's good for now. She'll do for now. She's not really my type, but I'll deal with her for now because I'm having fun. I'm building myself up. One day I'll go get the woman I desire. So that's like that's a category you don't want to fall into. You want to fall into the category of the man who's established choosing to pursue you. It's a safer bet. It's not 100% bet, but it's a safer bet. It's a bet that you're more likely to win. The only thing you can build with an older man is a casket. Oh my Lord, y'all cracking up. Yes. Don't be the good for now girl. Yeah, no, not unless that's what you're getting out of it for him. If you have the discipline to go out and have a good time and see some different things and see some shows or just do some fun stuff, something that you want to do, then yeah, do it. It just depends on your time and also, your time frame, and it depends on so many different things. So you just need to come up with a strategy that makes sense for you. But just make sure that you don't get caught up in over investing into a man who's building himself. He shouldn't be your man. He shouldn't be monopolizing all your time. You damn sure shouldn't be exclusive with him. You should not be exclusive with a man who is building himself up. Oh no. Oh no. Nope. So a lot of people secretly wonder why Black women deal with them, but they can't ask because it's not PC. Also, they hate marriage, but don't realize wealth is passed down through marriage. When you listen to struggle bandits talk, they don't care about wealth accumulation. They do not. They don't care about wealth accumulation at all. I think it was Steve Harvey the other day who said he was going to try to spend up all his money before he died so he wouldn't leave like less than 20% to his kids or something like that. Somebody like a Nick Cannon who creates 8 households or 7, I don't know where his children are scattered, but somebody like that doesn't care about wealth maintenance. They don't. There's no way you would be so sexually irresponsible and care about wealth. It's impossible. Struggle bandits like Future does not care about wealth. Fetty Wap had at one point $30 million, and I think he's down to, less than $1 million because he has all these children spread every different which way. So no, they don't care. Because marriage is about legacy and wealth transfer. That's the thing about pride. When you have pride in your name, you have pride in who you are, and you're trying to, your family is like your home base for launching off into the world. You make sure that you invest into your home. But we already know that in order to find a man that definitely cares about those things, you have to expand your options. You have to go wherever you can find a man who values those qualities. And so we know that. Yeah, exactly. Call me Coco. If you are having fun on a roster, I say go for it. But some women have to take time to learn how to casually date. That's another thing. Like, so many Black women don't want to casually date. I've had Black women say to me stuff like, well, I'm dating with a purpose. And so they want to date either one man at a time. They kind of set themselves up for heartbreak because Black men know exactly what to say to Black women to get them to overcommit. So he'll tell you, I'm a God-fearing man, sister. I just looking for the one. That's all I need. I want to see how you cook. Can you minister to my soul? uh let me see your cooking skills. I gotta sample, your thing. I gotta, really show me what kind of wife you're gonna be. So in the Black community, the woman has to prove that she's marriage material. And also she has to improve her ability to endure pain. That's key. You have to be able to forgive infidelities. You have to forgive neglect. You have to take whatever you get and be grateful for it. And so that's also what they're judging you on too. Because there's been several Black males who have said that their dads or uncles told them that they need to hurt the woman that they love to see if she stays. They were instructed by older Black males explicitly to hurt the woman that they love to see if she will stay, and to keep doing it for a while and see if she can endure the pain. So it's inside the culture that they have to do this. So anyway, so Black women are quick to commit. And they're like, oh, I'm dating with a purpose. You're just playing around. Or they equate, if you're roster dating or dating around, that you're not serious, or that you don't want a serious relationship. When it's like, who said I don't want a serious relationship? Sure, I'm open to a serious relationship, but I have different things that I have requirements for my attention and for my committed energy, and you don't. So you can enter into a relationship if someone is just like, oh, you're cute, will you be my girlfriend? And then you, a grown-ass woman, like, oh, I'll be your girlfriend. Whereas there's other women who are like, have a list of things and qualities and requirements and standards that they have in place before they are able to commit a lot of time, okay, and attention, and monopolizing your calendar and things like that. There's things that we require. And so since we have requirements, that prevents us from overcommitting to any one guy unless he is presenting forth the things that we require and is pursuing us, and then we can take him seriously. Like, okay, you have risen to the top of the crop. You are meeting these standards and requirements. You are pursuing me. And now I can really, put some more energy into you. But you just being a male does not entitle you to commitment from a woman. It just doesn't. Exactly. Have a good time, have fun, and see where it goes. See where it goes, and have your requirements, have your standards, and then from there you can tell. You can tell if you want to actually commit to that person. But that's another thing that, I kind of see in those groups, in the hypergamy groups. It's just the overcommitment so fast. And you're like, sis, what did he do to earn your commitment? But if you think that you're so happy to get a man, like, oh my God, I got chosen, yay, he chose me. If you have that attitude that you want to get chosen, then you're not going to value the commitment that you have inside of you as a woman. Like, that our time is more precious than their money. The only thing that they really care about is money. They don't care so much about time. They will literally sit on the couch with you and watch like a whole series of Netflix and just watch the whole thing. They'll put their time wherever. Now, effort, that's a different story. Effort is different from time when it comes to men. Now, will he come over and eat your food and watch Netflix? Yes. But will he come over and cut your grass? Maybe not. You know what I'm saying? Will he come over and fix something? Will he come over and take your car to get serviced? Will he pick you up at the airport at 5 o'clock in the morning? Will he change the tire? If you call him, will he come? That's effort. That's different from time, just generalized time. So number one is money, and number two is effort. How much effort is he willing to put into you? How much effort is he willing to exert? That's what we're judging. That's what we're trying to see. But the pick-me's will be like, oh, I want to be in a committed relationship. I'm dating with a purpose. I want to be married. Girl, if I told y'all what I saw in these groups, sometimes it's just literally a comedy show. Sometimes I'm sad though, but sometimes I'm just like, this is a comedy show, that this is still happening, but it's still happening. But sometimes, obviously I'm not divested, so I try to keep a pulse on what's going on. I try to keep a pulse on the conversations, how things are going. That's how I was able to understand this misunderstanding of hypergamy versus level up versus femininity content and whatnot. So I kind of try to I keep an ear out. I keep an eye out and I keep an ear out as to what these ladies are doing. So maybe when I come to my channel, I will know what I want to talk about. I will know what Black women are continuing to struggle with. That's why I'm over there. I want to know what are the blockages? What are Black women continuing to struggle with? What are the belief systems that are keeping them in this dynamic? That's what it interests me. So that's why I kind of continue to monitor what's going on. Not too much, because it can be overwhelming and very annoying. Especially the Black love threads. Those are very annoying. Because you cannot tell the truth about Black men without them jumping down your throat. Not all. My cousin, my uncle, my grandfather. Not all. Okay. Or this is the thing. They'll ask questions that they don't want the answer to. So they will be in a certain area, dressed a certain way, but more importantly is the area. They will be going to like Black, I don't know, I want to say Black upscale, because they're not like, the places that you go where like they smoke cigars and there'll be a bunch of Cadillacs in the parking lot. So it's like the Black version of upscale, but it's not really upscale. It'd be like, struggle bandits and Cadillacs. And they'll be like, oh, I'm going to this all white event at such and such city, which is like predominantly women, like the women way outnumber the men. I'm going to an all white party. Y'all think I'm going to meet, a fluent man? I'm only interested in a Black man. And then if you be like, sis, no, probably you won't. You probably should go over on this side of town and do this. And when you go, wear that. And that's going to be that you're going to meet an affluent man over there. But where you're going, no, you're not going to meet an affluent man. And then that's when they will be upset with you, because they don't want hypergamy. They're in the group for other reasons, but they're not in the group to truly be hypergamous. Because sometimes they will literally bait you into a conversation. Well, I feel like I should be able to, I feel like the only man for me is a Black man, and I feel like I can find an affluent one, and I'll wait as long as I can. What y'all think about that? You don't even want to know the answer, really. You do not want to know the answer to the question, because if we answer you honestly, they start crying, they start reporting you to the admin, And then they'll ban you or block you, or they'll cut the comments off. Like if you don't say what they want you to say, they'll just cut the comments off, or they'll delete the whole post. And you're like, okay, well, you really didn't want to know the answer. What you want me to say is that there's an affluent black man on every corner. He's waiting to wipe you up. Here's some sprinkle magical hypergamy dust, and now go forth and you're going to get the black man of your dreams. That's what they want us to say. They don't want to hear the truth. Not yet. I'm going to hold out hope that one day they will want to hear the truth. But as it comes right now, these ladies do not want to know the truth. If you're willing to wait, then just do that, and you don't have to explain that to anybody. Or if that's all you want, you don't need, just stop trying to get us to co-sign your behavior. If you're going to do it, you need to stand on your own toes. You need to stand on your own feet, 10 toes down on what you're doing, and just say, well, that's what I want to do. I'm going to cut myself off from all other male groups, and I'm just going to focus on this one. And if we tell you that they're the most economically disenfranchised, they don't have no money, there's less than 1% of them that have over this or that, that's when they start like, oh, not all. Why are you saying that? You're trying to block my blessings. Like, girl, I'm not trying to block your blessings. I'm just telling you the numbers. That's all. I'm just telling you the numbers. And they keep telling you that they don't value marriage. They keep screaming it over and over and over again. I'm never getting married. I'm never getting. The funny thing about the whole, I don't want to get married thing is they will give you a laundry list of things that you need to do to be marriage material. You need to be submissive. You need to be cooperative. You need to know how to cook, clean, make sandwiches while holding a baby on your boob, while running a business and working at the same time. They will tell you all of this stuff. And then after that, they'll be like, I don't even want to get married. Marriage is for simps. And you're like, well, damn, why did you just go through this whole laundry list of things that need to be done, but then ultimately you don't even want to be married? And that's the hamster wheel that these black women are on. They're just literally chasing their tail. And these men are telling you that they don't even want to be married. They're telling you that marriage is stupid. It's not lucrative for them. That, you're going to take half of their $45,000 salary. Because I laugh at the ones who are saying that they're afraid that their woman is going to take half when they ain't got nothing. Half of what, bro? Your stimulus check that you already spent? Half of what? Half of what? Selfish Love says, leveling up is hard, and some black women will use any excuse not to do it, including holding out hope for black men. Well, see, this is the thing. This is what I want black women to understand. You can level up and anchor yourself to poverty at the same time. You can level up in certain areas. You could become very fit. You can go get a BBL. You can go buy a new wig. You can level up. But there's going to be certain things that you're not going to have access to. You're not going to be able to maybe level up in a certain relationship status. Because they're black women leveling up and who are cutting themselves off from dating options. But they are indeed leveling up. And they think that they're being hypergamous, but they're not. You're leveling up, but you're not hypergamous. See, that's the difference. We can do another live, maybe another day. We can do another live just dedicated to leveling up content and femininity content, how it's not going to make a black man be a good man, okay? Because there's certain black women who still believe that there's something that they can do to make him act right. And I can give personal testimony that I did everything. Okay. I literally exhausted all everything that there is to do on that side. And I can show you one of the mammies that derailed me in in my own life. Like, following this mammy set me back. Okay, it set me back some years. And I just saw that mammy on one of the vloggers. Like, she does, like, celebrity gossip and stuff like that. She's not like a BWE content creator per se. She does like celebrity gossip and news and stories and viral stories and stuff like that. But I saw the mammy on her channel and I was like, oh, so she gonna rear her head again and try to get a whole new generation of Black women to follow down her dusty footsteps. Really, girl? I thought you was gonna live in peace with your dusty man and your dusty harem and live in peace. But oh no, she's making the rounds again. She's making the rounds again to get a whole nother generation of Black women to follow her path of dust. But no, we can talk about it, because I wasted a lot of time with that. And you can do all this stuff and they're still going to be who they are. So if you're going to level up, obviously the level up is for us primarily. It's for yourself when you level up. You're leveling up for yourself because it brings you personal satisfaction to ascend to the next level in various aspects of your life. It helps you ascend when you're leveling up. Now, sometimes as a byproduct of your level up journey, you are able to attract a high quality partner because now you are so much more attractive and interesting and alluring and magnetic. So you can attract a higher quality partner. So sometimes you go through the whole level up process and you continue to level up, and you have a very direct and a very precise hypergamous strategy, and that is what you are interested in. That may be the only thing that you're entertaining. They can both be happening at the same time. Or you could just focus on leveling up. Now, hypergamy, if you don't have the pedigree, because there be some basic women who marry, multimillionaires and stuff like that, but they're coming from the same circle, usually. So when you're coming outside the circle, the level up is crucial. Okay, the level up is crucial, and the beauty is the equalizer. Unfortunately, is it fair? Not necessarily. It may not be fair, but the beauty is the equalizer, and that be irritating dusties because they're like, oh, I had to work all my life to get into this yacht club, and you're just a cute girl with a dress on, and you got in, and you didn't do nothing. Well, I'm sorry, that's life. That is literally life. Like, yes, when you are beautiful, you don't have to work that hard to get into the same places a man gets into. A man might have to work his whole life to get into some of the spaces that you get into easily because you are cute. You're pretty. You're attractive. Is it fair? Maybe it's not fair. Is it fair that we bleed every month or we have to have a mense? Is that fair? Is it fair we have to carry a child for 40 weeks plus? Is that fair? Maybe not necessarily. You can't go tit for tat when you're dealing with women and men. You can't go tit for tat because one of us have it easy in some areas and some of us have it harder in other areas. So beauty is the equalizer, and beauty can get you access to a lot of stuff. So obviously, if we know that beauty is a commodity, beauty is access, beauty is currency, beauty is manipulation, beauty is money, beauty is provisions, beauty is hypnotizing and mesmerizing, And we know these things. And beauty, I'm just saying beauty in general. I'm not talking about any particular aesthetic. I'm talking about beauty. You know if you're beautiful. You know that. When you're talking about on the other side with the level up, if you're leveling up your beauty and you're leveling up your appearance, then on the other side, you can funnel that over to your hypergamy desire and utilize that for more access to more spaces with different types of men using your beauty, physical attributes. And you got to use them while you got them. Okay. That's why I'm saying find someone who's already established. We got a time frame. We got to get to it. Okay. We got to get to it. Time is of the essence for many of us. Use your beauty while it's at its peak. And luckily for us as Black women, we have a longer REM time. We have a longer time that we look youthful and beautiful. I was talking to one guy the other day. I was talking to this guy. He was in his, I think he was in his late 40s. Was it him or? I know I was talking to a guy the other day, and he told me that he wasn't interested in talking to anyone his granddaughter's age or something like that. Or, something along those lines. Well-established guy. So that doesn't even, X out our ladies who are more mature. You can still be hypergamous and be mature, because there's like widows. I'm coming into contact with a lot more widows than I ever have in life. And I guess it's just as I get older, guys get older and things happen. But yeah, there might be a widower or whatever, and he is not interested in dating a young woman. He's just not about that life. He don't want to be taking her out to the club. He don't want to be, he ain't got the energy for all that. He wants to go on cruises and relax, and he would like someone closer to his own age. Those men are out there. Those men are definitely out there. So all you have to do as a Black woman is maintain yourself, stay beautiful, continue to drink your water, moisturize, take care of your skin, take care of your teeth, and you have options. Well into your 50s and 60s, you have options. My mom is really pretty, but she's a pick-me. My mom is very beautiful, but she's a pick-me, so she's never going. She's not interested in trying to, find a man of stature. She's not even interested in that. And when I told her that I told her my income requirement, which, of course has like doubled, tripled since then. But when I told her my initial income requirement before I would even go out on a date with a guy, she looked at me like I had 5 heads. She looked at me so perplexed. So, she's not comfortable with dating up. She's not comfortable with that. She would prefer a struggle bandit. So that's her prerogative. I don't even be over there worried about what she got going on with that, because I just don't want to know. I prefer to be ignorant about that. But yeah, I've never known my mom not to be with a struggle bandit. I've never, ever known her not to be. All I've known her to be with. She says, girl, I'm saying my mom is beautiful and a pick-me. Girl, I don't know what's up with these pick-me boomers. My mom is so pretty. She really is. She's cute. My grandma's pretty, but my grandma married hypergamously. So my grandma got it right. I don't know why she didn't really try to teach us anything, though. She just married hypergamously and went on about her way. She never really talked to, I don't remember. Yeah, she never talked to us about it. Now, when I told her about my child's father, it was really too late. So the things that she was trying to tell me that I needed to do, I was already overcommitted. So I couldn't really do anything my grandmother was telling me to do because I had overly committed myself. And my grandmother was like, well, don't do this unless you have that. And you need this in place and da 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 da. And I was just so, on a time frame, like, I gotta hurry up and have a kid. I gotta hurry up and get my life going. And I was caught up, like, when you're caught up in black male worship, you feel a sense of worthlessness without somebody choosing you. Like something's wrong with you. And they talk about that kind of stuff all the time. Like, they use singlehood as an insult. Like, well, that's why you ain't got no man. And that's supposed to make you feel bad. In the black community, those are fighting words. That's why you ain't got no man. You ain't even got no man. So, considering that I was caught up in it, that was my belief system. So by the time I talked to my grandmother, I was already in way too deep and way overly committed to the situation. I was overly committed. But now that we're out of it, they say, like, that's why you ain't got no man. You're like, you're damn skippy, and I don't want one. Do you know if I want a man, I could have one tomorrow? Literally. I could literally have one tomorrow. I'm the one who is being choosy about who I commit to. I'm the one who's the choosing person. I choose, like, when I want to date you, when I'm done dating. I'm the one choosing this type of stuff. I'm the one deciding. So it's not an insult anymore. Like, that's why you ain't got no man. Yep, you're right. I certainly don't. And I'm glad, and I will when I get ready to. It's not an insult. I don't care. Again, when you don't value these people's opinion, you literally don't care. You like, okay. That's like, what am I going to get advice from you for about anything in my life? Like, nobody else cares about what you think. I damn sure am not about to care what you think. Your life is in shambles. You're a laughing stock of the world. Nobody cares what you think. Therefore, we don't care what you think. Therefore, I don't care what you think. We don't care. You literally suck all their power from them when you don't care. Yes. She said, my parents are married, but they watched me go through some things that they should have said something on. Yeah, I really wish that, people would have the courage to talk to us. Like, elders, parents, grandparents. Like, I wish they would have the courage to talk to us about stuff. Oh, y'all, I pissed this black male worshiper off so bad today. I didn't mean to, but she may never talk to me again. She was talking about her son. She's talking to this other lady about her son, who's, I think, 30, was with this older biracial woman, and the woman basically takes care of him. And I said, if that were my son, I would just own him. and I didn't mean to say it, because after I said it, I was like, oh damn, that was harsh, but it's really true. Like, if my son, I didn't know when I was pregnant, I didn't know if I was going to have a girl or a boy, but if I already knew, if I have a boy, I'm going to instruct him that he has to take care of his wife. This is in my mammy days. It doesn't matter. Even when I was a pick-me, I had this mentality. That a man is supposed to take care of a woman. That's how I feel, period, point blank. I feel like if she wants to homeschool the kids, she should have the ability to do that. You need to provide for your wife. If I had a son who was laid up at some woman's house, he could not call me. He could not bring his kids to my house. Them your kids, them not my grandkids. I don't want to have nothing to do with them. I don't want to have nothing to do with you. Don't call me for anything. That's how I feel. I would feel disgraced if my son took my teachings and he went into the world and he lived on another woman and he did not provide for his household. I would disown him and I would go to sleep at night and I would feel just fine about it. Because you're not a man. And I would feel like a failure. I would feel like I failed. I would feel like I failed as a parent. If I don't produce a son that's able to provide for his family, then I would feel like a failure. And also, don't fucking call me for anything either. I disown you until you fix your life. Like, that's disgraceful. So I was like, I would disown him. And she was like, I would never do that. That's my son. That's my son. All right, girl. This lady may never talk to me again. And it was just so natural. I wasn't thinking, and I just said it. But it's literally like how I feel. There's so many women in there with useless sons. Like, they're just useless. And they take care of their grandkids. And I know, like, if it was their daughters, I know that they wouldn't be helping them with the kids. Because I see that a lot. The mothers will help the sons with their kids, but they will not help their daughters. They will literally let their daughters drown. Like, the daughters will be drowning. And they'll let you drown. Like, oh, well, that's why you had them kids. Should have chose better. But they will literally pick the kids up from school, take the kids, feed them, do their homework and everything. And the dad will swoop in at the end of the day and put them in the bed. And they'll do the whole thing all the next day. So where is he parenting? I don't know. I have seen these mammies with their grandkids like they're their own kids. Okay? I see all of this through the gym ministry. talking to these women who are raising their sons' kids. And I'm sitting up here struggling, ripping and running, trying to figure out how I'm going to doing it all by myself. And it is very stressful. And they are literally like doing nothing. They're doing nothing. Their moms are doing everything. And it's like they're just further handicapping them. And they're not even ashamed. They don't feel no type of way about it. Like, what is your son producing in the world? What is he achieving? Like, where is his family? They're not even advocating for any of that. Like, they'll just, well, he ain't never been to jail. And they think that's a flex. Girl, that is not a flex. My son ain't never been to jail is not a flex. That's not anything to brag about. That's not anything to brag about, ma'am. But yeah, I just had this idea, like, I was like, if I have a son, I will raise. And then it kind of goes the same way for my daughter. If my daughter goes against everything that I've taught her and she chooses a struggle bandit, she's going to be on her own too. Okay? I may not completely disown her, but she cannot ask me for anything while she's in that situation. It's either you're going to have to choose what help you want. Do you want your mother's help, or do you want to stay in the situation that you're in? Because if you want to stay in the situation that you're in, don't ask me for anything. I did not raise you to take care of a struggle bandit. I did not raise you to be in a struggle love. So if you're going to do struggle love, you can count me out. You can count me out. Don't call me for nothing. Don't ask. No. Answer is no. Period. I'm not going to support you engaging in struggle love. As much as I have been through to get you to where you need to go, you need to take things to the next level. I expect this. The standard is up with her. I expect the best. I expect the best of you. You need to take everything that I've given you and you need to take it to the next level. That is what I'm instilling in her. Period. But they expect daughters to be perfect to make sure that there's a pool of pick-me's around to cater to these men after they are gone from the world. Wow. Wow. Yeah, I think so. They expect I think that since they struggle, they want their daughters to struggle. That's what I think. I think that it irritates them. Like, they just want to see you struggling. Like the proverbial, like when you live in a black household and like you get woken up like at 7 a.m. on Saturday to clean for no good reason, like just resting. They're like, why are you just sitting around resting? Like, why aren't you doing something? Like, they don't like their daughters to be taken care of. They want their daughters to work hard the way they do. And they don't feel comfortable seeing their daughters being catered to. They don't even see it being possible. Like, my daughter is cute. She's probably, I don't know if she's going to get my shape or like if she's going to be shaped like her aunts on her other side. I don't know. Either way, she will be fine because they're shaped okay. They're shaped okay. They've got pretty good bone structure. But if she's shaped like me, chow. She bet not come in this house with less than 10 figures. Okay. You better not, girl. If you shape like your mama, girl, you better go on and make it do what it do. Okay. They know the boys will not amount to anything, so they tell girls to focus on everything but dating because the whole community runs on black women's money. I'm having a deja vu. I'm feeling like I got a comment like that early in my channel, and I don't know what we were talking about that night. We were talking about something, and I feel like I got a comment just like that. This one. They know the boys will not amount to anything, so they tell girls to focus on everything but dating because the whole community runs on black women's money. Yeah. That's why it's getting so desperate. Like, it is getting so desperate. That's why they came out with it. I think that whole documentary is not for the world, it's for black women. Because they're addressing things related to black men are great fathers. Okay. So all of you thousands of women who've been like, whose children's father is not participating in a high quality level, who y'all don't exist. Okay. You're having a dream. You're having it's a figment of your imagination. Yeah. Your whole abandonment situation, it's just a figment of your imagination. It didn't really happen. You're having a bad dream. Actually, black men are the best fathers in the world. I remember on that clip, I think the statistic that they showed wasn't even a good one. They were like 50% are in the home or something, or 50% are active. And I'm like, 50%? That's not worth bragging about. That's not the majority. Like, I could see if they were saying like 80% or 75%, but 50%? And they probably exaggerated that. So that documentary is for black women because it is getting desperate. Now, there's one group that I was in that was full of pick-me's. And it still is to some extent. It's like a black business. It's like a black business group online. And you would see these struggle bandits come on there and make their comments like, oh God, I'll have to get one for y'all, like a specific comment. But just one of those situations where they'll make some grand announcement that nobody cares about. And they'll be like, oh, I remember one. One struggle bandit was like, are y'all teaching y'all girls to be good wives? Are y'all teaching y'all daughters to be good wives? The black women they went in. They were like, why are you worried about this? Where's your wife? Are you they were given a lot of pushback. And I feel like 2 years ago or 3 or 4 years ago, in that same group, in that same Black business group, you would have seen women being like, oh yeah, I'm doing a better job, we're trying our best to become better wives for our kangs. You would have seen only that. You probably would have seen just one or two critical comments. But fast forward to today, you had like, for every two pick-me's, you had like 8 free-thinking Black women. Now there's this cusp that I see Black women in. There's this sort of like middle ground where they're very critical of, their antics and stuff like that. They will call it out. They will kind of like drag them. They enjoy dragging them in the comments and stuff like that. They enjoy, the banter. They enjoy dismantling their talking points, but they're doing all of that to hope to win them over. So they're hoping to sort of win this intellectual war. And I think that the premise of that, or the underlying belief, is that if I show you better, you will do better. And I mean, I used to think like that. If I show you better, you will do better. But that's not that's not the case. They don't want to do better. They do not want to do better. Well, why in the hell is the wedlock rate so high if these men are in the home? Oh, because men don't respect the mother or a child enough to commit. Yeah, I guess I'll watch the docuseries. I want to watch it for free though. Like, I don't want to pay. I don't want to pay. I literally like don't want to pay for it. Because I'm just, I'm curious to see how they put together the fantasy. Like, I'm curious to see this alternate universe that these people have created. I'm just interested to see how they put it together. I think we should craft something very like along similar, theme points and time frames, and gather our experts and gather our information and talk about Black femicide. Talk about Black intimate partner violence against Black women and girls. We should put together a documentary for that. I wish Oprah wouldn't fund it. Like, girl, you better fund this thing. The one who got back and forth still wants to believe that Tyrone would do better if only he knew how. Yeah, I do believe that this is the situation. So they're being critical, but they're not. They have a lot of hope. And they don't realize how useless it is to do all of that. Like, they don't feel like anything is wrong with them. That's the thing. Like, if you don't think anything is wrong with you and you think you're perfectly fine, you don't have any motivation to change. And they think that what they're doing is fine. They literally think that what they're doing is fine. So they don't have any incentive to change. And they will literally create an alternate universe to support their delusion. Like Fantasyland in this documentary, like, we are the best fathers. When you say something like we're the best fathers, you're not willing to grapple with the actual amount of single mothers that you guys create everywhere. Because you just don't want to. You don't want to deal with that. Like, I've never heard one of them admit, yeah, we are really bad at relationships. Yeah, like, we really should fix that. I've never heard that before. I've never heard any Black men admit to, well, no, actually there's one. I have an old video in my archive, y'all. I'm gonna bust it out. I have an old video in my archive of a black man explaining to another black man about child support. And this black man could not convince this other black man that it's his responsibility, the children that he brings into this world. This conversation is about 35 minutes long. And this man would not admit that he is responsible for impregnating a woman. And I knew at that moment, I was like, okay, I got it. He don't want to know no better. And we keep like the 3.5 good black men that exist. If they try to talk to the collective about anything, they don't want to listen. So if they can't explain it, then we damn sure can't. He would not admit that it's his responsibility. He just wouldn't do it. They talk for like 35, 40 minutes. And him trying to explain, well, don't you think that you have to be responsible for yourself? You don't want to wear protection. Well, she could use birth control. Well, you didn't want to try to, prevent that. Well, it's not mine. Once I give it to her, then she want to get an abortion. She can get an abortion. But whose responsibility is? It's hers. I can't choose it. I mean, this went back and forth for like 35, 40 minutes. This man would not agree. Did I call him a man? My bad. This male would not admit that he is ultimately responsible for his bodily fluids. He would not take responsibility for his bodily fluids at all. And this is a man trying to explain it to him. The 45K a year dusty black male mentality is that if he puts his money with a woman, suddenly he's a six-figure man. They don't want to do better. No, they don't. They will literally murk you for like $200 a month. That's why I share content on my page to single mothers, and I tell them, and this is very controversial, I was talking to women about this before I even came to YouTube. I would be like, listen, let's think about this whole child support thing. Is it, let's think about this. Let's weigh the pros and the cons of this child support. Because how much are you getting, and is it consistent? Because sometimes you get $300 a month, then he loses his job, then you don't get anything. Then you start getting the money again. Then they take his income tax and you get the income tax. And they be mad when a black woman, like when they don't pay their child support and the government takes their income tax, they be ready to go roll up on her and do something bad to her. So I've told people offline and online, you have to think about, does it really make sense? Because they will become violent over the smallest amounts of money. They have a vitriolic response to child support. Like, they don't want to pay child support. They just don't want to do it. They do not want to pay child support. Dang, I think I have it saved in my, I have a struggle bandit. His struggle bandit was like 55. This struggle bandit had a job. I think he said his first job was like in 1981. He said he had a job in 1981. They took some money out of his account for back child support. This struggle bandit quit his job in 1981 and has not had a job, a stable job since then. He was very committed to not paying child support, okay? This man was appalled that they took money out of his check. Okay, he said, "Not never again. Oh no, you won't take no money from me." Started dealing drugs, stealing, doing all kinds of stuff. That man quit his job the next day. Okay, I have it. I think I have it saved to my watch later. Because when I saw that video, I was like, oh, I got to snag this. We got to go in on this one day. because that is the mentality, and they don't grow out of it. So he's like 55 years old. Do you think he feels remorse for neglecting his children for over 30 years? Do you think he feels bad about it? Do you think he's like, man, I wish I could have did things better, I'm gonna take care of my grandkids now? No, he don't care. He feels justified in what he did. He don't care. He don't care. Which means they recognize his current behavior is not right, but they cannot recognize his intent is not right either. They're the best fathers, but somehow they all have personal story about being raised by so-called horrible single moms. They weaponize this story, but suddenly black men are good dads. Yeah, those are the two conflicting realities. There's lots of conflicting realities, right? So one reality is you need to do all these things to be a good wife. Oh, by the way, I'm never getting married, right? Black men are the best fathers. They're in the home. We're active. We're da 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 da. Also, single mothers ruined society. Single mothers are the bane of humanity. Single mothers are, the problem for everything in the black community. So where are the mythical fathers? We'd have to ask them. We'd have to ask them. We're alpha men, but also most subject. Like all of it's contradictory. All of it's contradictory. We know this. And that's part of the reason why it's just so fascinating to see the women windmilling in the comments. Because you're never ever going to get anywhere. Why don't they still be listening to them? They still be listening to them. And I am kind of worried, like some of the ladies, I'm concerned that they are like using their real profiles. That concerns me. That you are engaging with incels, but you are using your real profile. And I don't know. I don't think that's safe. I think you would be better off, not engaging with them, or at least coming up with an anonymous page if you're going to be, dragging them basically. Like I thought you said your single mom was horrible to you, and that's why you hate black women. Oh, but suddenly now black men are good fathers when it's time to examine the stats. Yeah, it's always shifting and moving and oh, we're strong kings, but also we're brutalized. Which one is it, Tyrone? Are you brutalized or are you a king? It can't be both. You know that saying, what is it, like God does mysterious things, or like don't question God? I don't know exactly what the saying is. But I feel like that's kind of like black man's mantra. Like, don't question me. Just like I know it don't make sense, but I work in mysterious ways. Like I think that's what their response is. I work in mysterious ways. Don't try to follow the logic. It's beyond your comprehension. You have to be divinely, ordained to follow the logic. So don't even try. Don't rack your brain. Right. Not a six-figure couple, a six-figure man. He absorbs assets by way of a wife would when she marries the man. How feminine. Yeah. I've seen that, I've seen that with Dusties of all races, saying they're looking for a go-getter, independent woman to build life with. That's a deep commitment not to not take care of his children. Growing up in H, I saw this so much. It's why drugs and crime increased. The males were avoiding child support. Yes, call me Coco. Yes, absolutely. This man explicitly says why he quit his job in 1981. He was so upset that they had taken child support out of his check. So he started selling drugs. He started stealing cars and doing all kinds of scamming and scheming and felonies and whatnot. Now let him tell it, the world is against him and the world is keeping the black man down. When in fact, if you just ask him, hey, are you disenfranchised? Are you a victim? He's going to be like, yeah, I'm a victim. The white man keeping me down. I can't never do this. I can't never do that. I profiled. I got a record. Whoop, 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 whoop. But if you go all the way back, if you listen to his whole story, see, this is the thing about when I listen to them, they don't be talking about these topics. So they're talking freely, not thinking that you're talking about family, fatherhood, and stuff like that. They're talking about their life, right? So they're just telling you about like, oh, I did this and I used to live here and I used to go there, and da 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 da, woo woo woo. But of course, I'm listening to understand the pathology. So this man's like, yeah, 19, I had my first job. I had a job. I was working here. I worked there for a whole month and I didn't get my whole check. Took me for child support. And he was so appalled that he quit the job and entered a life of crime. Now, how much do black men hate child support? Enough to become like that much. That's how much they hate it. And he has not worked a job since 1981. And now has probably lived up underneath, like live off the grid. I'm sure he got warrants and everything else. So now you're an underclass within your own country because you can't participate in regular activities like voting and getting a driver's license, and you can't participate in everyday society things because you've relegated yourself to second class citizenship because you're living under the radar. You're living off of papers like an immigrant or something with no papers because you're ducking child support. Now, whose fault is that? Who made you quit your job? See, but they would never take personal responsibility if you just ask them outside the context or within the context of why do you think you're in the situation that you're in? Why do you think you haven't amassed anything? Why do you think? And they'll tell you, somebody, I'm victimized. Now, this male was talking about all the different like streetwalkers that he has, that he picks up and stuff like that. He was talking about utilizing sex worker services throughout his whole marriage to a black woman. And now she's trying to file for a divorce, but she can't find him. And he's like, well, I don't want to divorce her because I want what's mine. That's what he said. I want what's mine. So I guess he's trying to get some, land or whatever. I don't know what the woman has that he's trying to get, but he wants to get something from her. It's crazy. The stats actually interpret that when they are married in the home, only 50% of them are present and active father. Yeah, that sounds about right. I know a lot of married single women. What trips me out, I knew this lady today, she was talking about she got 3 jobs. She got 3 jobs and she's married and did not have $120 to do something. Girl, if I'm married and $120 is an issue, hold on, back it up. If I'm dating you and $120 is an issue, I'm not the one for you. You're not the one for me. So out of the few hundred thousands of millions of fathers that are married in the home, only 50% of those are present. Nothing to brag about. Yeah, no, it's not. It's not anything to brag about. It's not freaking flex. The Kangs work in mysterious ways. You will also notice they don't like doing jobs that place them in close proximity to other men who are business-minded, where they will have to compete. They're very intimidated by other men. Yeah, they are. Extremely. So they will do some solitary job where other men can't sniff them out for being lame, like entry level CDL driver, security guard, or something. Yeah, and a lot of them work. Oh, did y'all see the FedEx worker? Did y'all see the FedEx worker pick up the white sex worker and do the do on the job inside the FedEx truck? Yeah, y'all know it was a gang. It was a gang. It was a gang, y'all. So a lot of them get delivery jobs too. They work a lot. They're in that truck by themselves a lot. If she was single and working 3 jobs, she would have at least 100. She would have her $120. Yeah, because guess what? She got bonus kids. I'm pretty sure she would have the money if she was by herself. But I mean, it's like 3 jobs. That ain't no way. Ain't no way. My husband will be lucky if I have a part-time job. Okay, I have no job. We're talking about marriage means I ain't working. If I'm working, that means I'm single. Okay. If I'm married, I'm not mandatory on work. Okay, I'm not gonna do that. I'll probably keep my business in the house, but I damn sure ain't gonna be working 3 jobs. Did you see it? It's on Neek at Night. You can go to Neek at Night and you can see the story that she did on the FedEx driver in Detroit, the Detroit area. Yep, he picked up a streetwalker. She was tweaking. A sex worker of no color. Put her in that, drove off to the side, went in the back of that FedEx truck and did whatever they were going to do. A gang. So anywho, y'all, it's late. Thank you for hanging out with me tonight and discussing level up, hypergamy, femininity, and then we veered off into a lot of other things, as I usually do. I guess I'll just kind of plan on that. I'll plan on veering off into all manner of different directions. So y'all, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for engaging in the comment section. It's been a lot of fun chatting with you lovely ladies. And for those of you who are catching the replay, please do comment below, comment and let us know your thoughts on the conversation for today. Like, share, and subscribe. All right, y'all. Peace.